Hi friends, how is everybody? It's a little bit cooler today, huh? Yesterday was very sunny. I had to put a lot of sunblock on my skin. And I even still got a little burned. Anyways, so we're going to be heading into summer, as you can tell, with all this warm weather pretty soon. And one of my favorite things to eat in summer is watermelon. I'm sure you guys have it around too. So I thought we could make some watermelons today. But I want to make them with squares. So what you need is a paper plate if you don't have one, something that's a little bit stronger than regular paper, and a circle, or something you can cut out. A glue stick or liquid glue, a black marker, crayon, or pencil, or paint, a regular pencil, a ruler or something. You can even use a book, whatever has a flat surface, a pair of scissors, and some construction paper. I'm going to use watermelon colors that for the watermelon inside. This is for the rind, and I may use this for seeds, but I'm not sure yet. So if you have pink, or if you want to make a crazy watermelon, like a Wacky Wednesday watermelon, even though it's not Wacky Wednesday, but we could just be wacky on Tuesday. So pick whatever colors you want. I have these available, so I'm going to use them. They kind of match my shirt too. All right, so the first step for me is I'm going to take my plate and I'm going to draw a line in the middle because we're going to make a watermelon half. And I'm going to put my ruler down, and then I'm going to take my pencil and drag it along. Or if you can do a steady line, that's fine too. So this is what it looks like. See my pencil line? And then on my pencil line, I'm going to use my scissors and cut it. These are my son's scissors. I'm going to use my adult scissors because my hands are bigger. Okay, as you can see, cutting along the line the best that I can do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I never want anything perfect because you are all perfect. And even if your projects aren't with lines or anything like that, I don't want you to get upset because it's beautiful. Everything you make is beautiful. It's art. I miss you guys so much. Okay, so I just had to say that because I really do miss you guys. I'm just making sure my glue stick is ready. So now I have my watermelon half. I could take a bite. Not yet, still a paper plate. So what I'm going to do first, I actually have a really big piece of green paper. I don't need all this paper. You can make squares and cut them out, or you can make what's called a grid, where we have a bunch of squares and you cut all the squares out. One of your family members can help you with this. Miss Sherry and I would do that in class for you. We might have the square grid ready for you. Or if you want to just free draw some squares and cut them out, that's awesome. I'm going to make a little grid right here. So let's see. So I'm going to draw a line. And I don't really know how many squares I'm using for the watermelon rind, the green part of the watermelon that you don't want to eat. That's good for composting. Do you know what composting is? All right, so I started this. I haven't drawn my squares yet. And then I'm going to take my ruler, or whatever flat thing, and then I'm going to make some more lines. It's definitely not completely lined up. That's okay. Oops. That's what erasers are for. you make a little mistake or you want to change something, I always tell my sons, why do you think they put erasers on pencils? So you can fix something you want to fix. Making my squares. So I didn't tell you. So I made some vertical lines, how we say the hot dog way. And then I made one horizontal line, the hamburger way, on top. And I'm going to make a few more. I might be doing extra, but if I have some extra left over, that's fine. Okay. I think I have a lot of squares. But let's see. And it's looking maybe around the edge of the paper plate. You might want to use liquid glue. I might grab that if I have it. If not, I'll try and use just around the edge because it's curved. Sometimes that's hard to stick. So I cut out my grid. Okay. Let me see my liquid glue. I have some. Okay. All right, I'm going to start cutting out the squares. I have little squares on here. I'm going to cut out first. I don't need them right now. So on a grid, you would just cut on the line as best you can. And then cut. So I cut out one line of the grid, and now I'm going to do this. Let's see if I can do it backwards on the line. There you go. Anyways, that was kind of backwards. That was challenging for me. That's how I'd really cut it. Okay, so now I have 3 squares. And let's see, so I'm going to line them up on the edge. It looks like I may need a lot more. So for me, I'm going to cut on the line. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 lines on my grid and see how that goes. And when you glue them on the paper, glue the pencil line down so you can just see the beautiful green and you don't have to see the lines that you drew. If you want. There we go. Okay, I'm going to start gluing, and I'm going to glue around the edges where the little imprints are right here. Okay, that's going to be the watermelon, the bottom of it, the rind, okay? So I'll put, oh no, this new glue. Oh no. Oh, the glue dried in it. Okay, let's see if it works now. Glue challenge. Okay, it's working a little bit. And you don't have to put a ton of glue. This came out a little bit because I was kind of squeezing it hard so I can get the dry glue out. And then what you would do, let's see if you see the glue on the edge. There you go. I've got my square. And I'm just going to press it down. Maybe even move it around a little bit so it squishes that glue down. I'm going to take my other square. And I'm going to keep on doing that. And don't worry if you see glue. See how you see a little glue right there? That's going to dry. And you're not going to see that. So don't worry about that at all. And I'm only going to make a couple dots at a time because I don't want the glue to dry on me. It's not as important with liquid glue, but it's a good practice because glue sticks dry really quick. And so I keep putting my squares down. And I'm going to put my glue down. You could even do a line if you want. Let's try that. What if I do a glue line? Because it's liquid glue. If it was the glue stick, not so much. It would dry. Okay. And remember, I'm working pretty fast because I don't want this to be too long for you guys to watch. But you can take your time. And I actually had one extra one left over. One little watermelon square left over. This is my bottom, okay? Bottom of my watermelon rind. Okay, so I'm done with my green. And now I have the middle of the watermelon. I'm gonna do the same thing. I have this really big piece of paper and I really don't need that much. So I'm gonna move my little watermelon aside and I'm gonna take my ruler and I'm going to draw a grid again. Oops, kind of made that too big. Don't need that much, so I erase it. And again, if you need help from your family, I'm sure they would be more than willing. Drawing a line, the hot dog way, and then I'm going to do the hamburger way. And these are going to be the inside of the watermelon. That's what these squares are going to be. Okay, I have my grid. Whoa. There you go. Now I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut out the whole grid first. And then I'll do the squares after I cut the whole grid, just so you're not lugging around this big piece of paper. And now I'm going to cut out the lines. You might have to use more pink squares because there's a larger surface for you to fill, as opposed to the green watermelon rind. It's only like a half circle. You're filling in the rest of the watermelon with these. So I'm going to cut all of them because I might use all of them, and you can layer them too. One more left. Okay. This I'm going to use the glue sticks. So I'm going to put a little bit on, see that right there on the corner, but I'll fill it so you can see it. Do like, say one triangle at a time. See? And then I'm going to put, pencil line down. See the pencil line, and then just stick inside of my watermelon. That little bit, I have to do some more. But again, I'm not going to do the whole inside of the watermelon with the glue stick right now because it will dry by the time I get there. So I'm only doing pieces at a time. Okay? If you need to add a little more glue. That's fine. Doing a little bit of layering. I actually might have to cut some more because I'm layering. It's okay. I have plenty of paper to do that. Go. I definitely have to cut a little bit more to finish my watermelon because I did a little bit of layering on top to make it look filled, which you don't have to do. But I wanted to do it, so I did. This is what I have so far. So now I'm going to cut a little bit more. Again, I'm going to take out my ruler. And here's my pencil. Now let's draw my squares. Oops. There we go. And these are not all the same size squares because I kind of do them a little fast. And that's okay. I keep saying that's okay because it is. Everything is fine. It's actually making me want to have watermelon, but we ate our watermelon. We need to get more. One more. Okay. Right, this is my last line of glue stick. Kind of looks cool with the purple, but we know that will dry clear, so. A little bit more for it to stick. Okay. What do we need? What do you find in watermelons? Seeds. So you could even cut little tiny pieces, or you could use marker, little tiny squares, or not squares, because whatever you want. But this is a square watermelon, so if you could cut those teeny tiny squares, I'll show you. I'll cut one right off the corner. It's a little bit of a challenge because they're so tiny. You do it like this. See it? Put one right here. So you could do squares. Should we do that? Or should we draw squares? Well, I'll do the two ways. So we did our tiny square, which I cut out of the paper. Or you can draw squares. Started that. Make sure they're small, like the seeds. Fill them in. see. How does it